right at this point, you need to get out your math notebook, open up to page NBT.4 that we've been doing for the past few days. It says addition and subtraction at the top. You should see the addition problem we already did a few days ago. The subtraction problem we did yesterday, and that goes with our subtraction poem here that we've been practicing. Today we are finally going to finish this page with this problem right here. This is the directions for the box trick. So go ahead, get your math notebook out. If you forgot it today, pay $5. You can get an extra page to glue in later. Once you're settled, turn to this page and ready. Go ahead and play the video. And we will work on this last problem together. Until then, pause it till you're ready. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So, I'm going to zoom in here. The first thing we're going to need to do is write the number that we are focusing on. We are going to write in the second column. We're dealing with money again, so put a $sign, then an 8, 4, 0, 0, put your decimal point, 0, 3. So this number, if I start at my ones place and go back 1, 2, 3, kick, I get $8,400.03. Now let's go ahead and write our next number. Right underneath the 8, I'm going to have you put a 3. We can put a $sign right here by our subtraction sign. Next to the 3, put a 6, then another 3, 4, put in a decimal point, then 2, and then 4 again. We will use this top row to show our regrouping work. And note that we are subtracting, so go ahead and put a box around that so you remember what operation we're doing. So we're going to kind of have to combine two strategies today and learn everything we know about regrouping with subtracting. So I'm starting with my hundredths place since I'm dealing with money. So I'm doing 3 minus 4. Thinking to my subtraction poem, there is more on the floor. So I need to go next door and get 10 more. But when I go next door, there is a 0. That means I need to use my box trick. So I'm going to underline my 0 and go next door to my ones place. And next door in my ones place, I have a 0 again, so I still can't borrow anything. So I'll go next door another time to my tens place and underline that, and there is another 0, so still nothing to borrow. If I go next door one more time, finally I get a number 4, and I can borrow from that. So I'm going to finish drawing my box. Make sure your box includes the numbers 4, 0, 0, 0. Okay, now let's start regrouping. I'm going to cross off one number at a time. I'm going to cross out the 4. I'm taking 10 away from the 4, so I'm going to change it to a 3. All of my zeros that are inside the box are going to change to 9s. So I'm going to cross out this 0, 9, cross out this 0, make it a 9, cross out this 0, and make it a 9. Now that I have taken my 10 away with my box trick, I can add 10 to the hundredths place. So if I cross out my 3 and add 10, I get 13. Now I can subtract. 13 minus 4, now I have more on the top. 13 minus 4 equals 9. Then if I go to my tenths place next door, 9 minus 2, more on the top, no need to stop. 9 minus 2 is 7. Go next door to my ones place. 9 minus 4, that equals, well, first of all, notice there's more on the top. 9 minus 4 equals 5. Go next door to my tens place. 9 minus 3 equals 7. Go next door again. This time, 3 minus 6, so I have more on the floor. That means I need to go next door and get 10 more. This time when I go next door, there's an 8, so there's something that I can take away. So I'm going to take one 10 away from the 8 and change it to a 7, and add that 10 over here to my 3 that I already regrouped. If I'm adding 10 to it, it becomes 13. Now I have more on the top and I can subtract. 13 minus 6 equals 7. And then finally, in my thousandths place, 7 minus 3, more on the top, no need to stop. 7 minus 3 equals 4. I'm going to put my dollar sign so I remember that this is money. Put in my decimal point where it belongs to separate the dollars and cents. Start at my ones and count back. 1, 2, 3, kick, to put in my comma after the 4. And I get an answer of $4,775.79. All right, we are done with your math notebook. We are going to use your math packet for the rest of the time. So go ahead and clip your math notebook back into your binder. Pull out your packet page, and I'll show you what we're going to do next. Big mouth Billy Bass break. Your math notebook should be put away. You should be flipped in your packet to subtraction across zeros. Now we're going to take what we learned with the box trick and apply it to some more problems. So here is our model right here. Let's look at 5,003 minus 234. And we are going to start by subtracting the ones. We can see that we have 3 minus 4. So in this problem, there is more on the floor, and I need to go next door and get 10 more. I go next door to my next number, but it's a 0. I can't take anything from that. So I need to go next door to the next place. The next place is also a 0, so I can't borrow from there. So I need to go next door to the next place. And finally, I found the number 5. I can take something from the 5, so I'm going to close it into my box. Now, my 5 I'm taking away from, it's becoming 10 less, so it becomes a 4. Every 0 inside my box becomes a 9, so this 0 is a 9, and this 0 is a 9. Then the 3 outside my box is what we are adding to, so we can have more on the top. So if I cross this 3 out, and I add 10 to get 13, now I have 13 minus 4, more on the top, no need to stop, 9. If I go to my tens place, 9 minus 3, more on the top, no need to stop, 6. Then in my hundreds place, 9 minus 2, more on the top, no need to stop, 7. And then finally in my thousands place, I have 4 minus nothing, which is 4. Then I'm going to go ahead and put in my comma, 1, 2, 3, kick, and I get an answer of 4,764. Check your work with a calculator to make sure you got the right answer. When you have it matching mine, go ahead and move on to the next problem. Over here we have $550.00 minus $31.23. This is going to be the most common time you're going to have to do subtraction with regrouping is when you're dealing with money. So that's why we're going to practice right now. So you make sure you're doing the right operation, box in a subtraction sign, so you know we're going to subtract. And then let's start by, since it's money, we need to subtract not the ones place first, but the hundredths place first. So I start with 0 minus 3, and I see I have more on the floor, so I need to go next door and get 10 more. If I underline the number next door, it's a 0. I can't borrow from that. So I need to go to my next place, my ones place, and it's another 0. So I still can't borrow anything. So I'm going to go to the next place, the tens place. When I get to the tens place, I finally have a 5, so that's something I can borrow. So I'm going to close my box around the 5 and 2 zeros. Remember to leave this outside 0 separate outside of the box, because that is what we're adding to. So starting with the 5, I'm going to take away 10. It changes to a 4. Every single 0 inside the box changes to a 9. My 0 outside the box changes to a 10, because that's where I'm adding 10 to the 0, so I can regroup and subtract. So now in my hundredths place, I have 10 minus 3. There is more on the top. No need to stop. I get 7. In my tenths place, 9 minus 2. More on the top. No need to stop. I get 7. I can go ahead and put in my decimal point there so I don't forget. Then in my ones place, 9 minus 1. More on the top. No need to stop. 8. In my tens place, 4 minus 3, more on the top, no need to stop, 1. And then finally, 5 minus nothing equals 5. So I'll put a 5 right there. Don't forget my dollar sign. And I get an answer of $518.77. All right, for these next 3 problems under practice. So that is 8,000 minus 5,234, $360.20 minus $43.62, and $4,000 minus $360.28. I want you to pause this video, try them on your own, check each one with a calculator, see if you can find your mistakes if it doesn't match what's on the calculator, then come back to the video, and you can check your work to make sure you understand. Okay? So go ahead and hit pause, and we'll finish this in a minute. Welcome back. Go ahead and check your work with the 2 that I have finished here. You should have gotten 8,000 minus 5,234 equals 2,766. If you didn't, pause the video, make your paper match mine, see if you can find your mistake. We'll do this one together in a second, but jump over to this one here. You should have gotten $4,000.00 minus $360.28 equals $3,639.72. If you did not get that, pause the video, copy this work, and see if you can find where you made your mistake. I want to do this middle one together, so check your work very carefully with this one. It could be an easy one to mess up. We're starting out by subtracting the hundredths place, and we have 0 minus 2. So we automatically see that there is more on the floor, so I need to go next door and get 10 more. When I underline my number next door, it's not actually a 0, it's a 2. So I don't have to underline and do the box trick, I can just regroup like normal. So if I cross out this 2, I'm taking away a 10, it becomes a 1. And this 0 here, I'm adding a 10, and it becomes 10. So 10 minus 2 equals 8. Then in my next place, my tenths place, I have 1 minus 6. And once again, there's more on the floor. So I need to go next door and get 10 more. When I go next door, I see that I have a 0. So there's nothing next door to borrow, so I need to go next door again to my tens place. This time there's a 6, so I can draw my box around my 6 in my 0. This means I'm taking 10 away, so my 6 becomes 1 less, a 5. My 0 inside the box becomes a 9. And then my 1 outside the box, where I need some more, I need to add 10. So 1 becomes 11. Then I can do 11 minus 6, and I get an answer of 5. Put in my decimal point. 9 minus 3 is 6. And there's more on the top, 9 minus 3. 5 minus 4, more on the top, no need to stop. I get 1. And then 3 minus nothing equals 3. So I get $316.58. All right, let's try some word problems together. Playtime break. I want you to meet my best friends at home. I have Sauerkraut Saul. He's a pierogi. Look at him dance. And Oliver Onion. Best friends, best friends, best friends anyone could have. Yay! Okay, let's take a look at these word problems. These are things that are going to happen to you in life, and you're going to need to know how much change you get back. So if you go to the store and you're buying something, but you're paying with a bill that's more than what you actually owe, you don't want to just walk away and give them extra money. You need to be able to count your change right and get it back so you're not spending too much. So that's what these next problems are going to be dealing with. Put your pencil down as we look at the first word problem and use our UPS check strategy to understand by reading and visualizing. Jen goes to Toys R Us and spends $27.14 on a new game. She pays the cashier with a $50 bill. What will her change be? As always, the first thing we do is bracket the question. What will her change be? Underline the word change. If you take a look at our math windows, change is actually a hint word for subtraction when we're talking about money. So put a subtraction sign there. And let's underline other important info. Jen, and $27.14 is what she spends. And then it says she pays the cashier with a $50 bill. Underline that. If she's paying with a $50 bill, it means she's paying with $50. If you have a dollar bill, you're not using any cents, so it's $50.00, which we have to make sure we put because the cost of the game, $27.14, has cents in it. So when we do our subtraction, we need to make sure we're lining up the cents with the cents. So we know for subtraction problems, we do our bigger number, which is $50, minus our smaller number, $27.14, will be our difference or our change at the end. So go ahead and set up this problem with $50 first. Put your dollar sign, 5, 0, decimal point, 00, $50. Then dollar sign, 2, 7, decimal point, make sure everything's lined up, and then 14 cents. And we're going to subtract. So I'm starting in my hundredths place with my change. 0 minus 4. There is more on the floor, so I need to go next door and get 10 more. When I go next door, I have a 0, so I can't borrow anything. So I need to go next door again, and I have another 0. So I can't borrow anything there, so I need to go next door again, and finally I have a 5. So I'm going to draw my box around my 5 and these 2 zeros right here. And now I can regroup by taking 1 away, 110 away from the 5, crossing out my 0, all of my zeros inside my box change to 9. My 0 outside my box, where we're adding to regroup, is going to become a 10. So now I have 10 minus 4. There's more on the top. No need to stop. I get 6. 9 minus 1. More on the top. No need to stop. 8. Go ahead and draw in your decimal point. 9 minus 7. More on the top. No need to stop. 2. And finally, 4 minus 2. More on the top. No need to stop. 2. And I get an answer of $22.86. Pause this video, check your work with a calculator, make sure we got the right answer, and then, since this is a word problem, you're going to need to write a complete sentence right here. So the question asks, what will her change be? Start your sentence with, Jen's change will be, and then you go ahead and fill in the answer on your own. So pause the video, check with a calculator, finish your sentence. All right, if you are back, we are going to do the next problem. Put your pencil down so we can understand the problem by reading and visualizing. Steve buys 2 Xbox games for $34.20 each. He gives the cashier a $100 bill. What will his change be? Pick up your pencil. The first thing we do is bracket the question. What will his change be? We know change is a hint word for subtraction when we're dealing with money, so put a subtraction sign. We have Steve as important info. He buys 2 Xbox games for $34.20 each. So there's a lot going on. First of all, each, underline that. That means I need to multiply. I need to be thinking right away. I need to multiply and I need to subtract. So this is probably a 2-step problem. I have the number 2 right here for Xbox game. And then this part right here, the part that he paid, $34.20, that's in word form. Let's put it in standard form so we can deal with the numbers. So $, 34, and is my decimal point, 20 cents. But I also have a third number, and that is $100 bill. If he's paying with a $100 bill, he doesn't have any cents in his pocket. So he's paying $100 in paper, and that is 0 cents. So it's pretty clear for this problem, I have $100, $34.20, and 2 Xbox games, so 3 numbers and 2 operations, multiplication and subtraction. So that means this is a 2-step problem. Draw your line down the middle. To solve this problem, we need to first figure out how much both of the video games cost. So if he bought 2 Xbox games and they each cost $34.20, we could add $34.20 like this. And then that's one game, and we could add the other game, $34.20, and we could add that up to get our answer. Or a faster way to do it, this is repeated addition, $34.20 2 times. So I could also do it as multiplication, $34.20 times 2. So either way you want to do it, that's fine. You can use your calculator. I'm going to type in my calculator $34.20 times 2. And when I do that, I get an answer of 68.4 is what your calculator might say. Because your calculator isn't always great with using the zeros and decimals. Since we know we're dealing with money, we need to make sure we put a 0 here and a $sign here. So now we know that both of the games together cost $68.40. He paid with a $100 bill. We need to know what his change is going to be. So I'm going to take my bigger number, which is $100. I got that right here in the problem. And then I'm going to subtract the total cost of both video games. So if I draw my arrow over and write $68.40, make sure that everything is lined up correctly. So you have your cents lined up, your ones column lined up, tens column, and your 100 column by itself. Then we can go ahead and subtract. So in our hundredths place, we have 0 minus 0. Don't let that trick you. You don't need to regroup. Numbers the same. 0 is the game. 0 minus 0 equals 0. Then move on to our tenths place. We have 0 minus 4. More on the floor. Go next door and get 10 more. When I go next door to my ones place, I have a 0. So I can't borrow anything. So I need to go to my next place, my tens place, and I have another 0. Still can't borrow. So I go next door again to my hundreds place where there's a 1. I can finally borrow from this 1. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my box. and change my numbers. My 1 now becomes a 0. My zeros inside the box become 9s. And my 0 outside the box, the one where I need more to subtract, I'm going to add the 10 that I borrowed. So now I have 10 minus 4. And there's more on the top. No need to stop. I get 6. Then I'm going to go to my next place, my ones place. 9 minus 8, more on the top. No need to stop. 1. If I go to my tens place, 9 minus 6, more on the top. No need to stop. 3. And then finally my hundreds place, I have 0 minus nothing, which is 0. I don't need anything in the hundreds place since it's to the left, so I can just put my dollar sign. Don't forget your decimal point. We get an answer of $31.60. Pause the video, check this with your calculator, and make sure you write a complete sentence. Before you move on to your next page in the packet, make sure that you checked your answers with your calculator and wrote a complete sentence for each word problem. I am going to be checking this, that your homework's done tomorrow. If you don't have it, it'll be a missing task, so make sure you get it done now. Picture break. I found this picture of me and my Aunt Debbie's wedding. So if you look, there's little me. I was the flower girl in my Aunt Debbie's wedding. There, you can see that. That's my Aunt Debbie. And my brother Alex. Isn't he cute? Oh, we're so cute. Turn in your packet to this page, subtracting to make change, and we will work on these together. So you'll see that there's a problem over here, a space over here to show your work, and this is where you'll put your answer. There's also a challenge problem that I'm going to have you do on your own, so stay tuned and listen to directions to find out more about that. But before we get there, let's start with number 1. Put your pencil down. Let's use our UPS check strategy to understand the question by reading and visualizing. Francine goes to the grocery store and spends $31.79. She pays the cashier with a $50 bill. What will her change be? So the first thing we do is pick up our pencil and bracket the question. We're looking for her change, and we know that's a hint word for subtraction. We are talking about Francine, so underline that. She spends $31.79, and then underline $50 bill. That's what she pays with, so we need to put the answer in standard form in money. So that would be $50, and if she's paying with a bill, she's not using any coins for cents, so it's going to be $50.00. The $50 is our bigger number. $31.79 is our smaller number, and then our change will be our answer of our difference. So in the workspace off to the side, I'm going to neatly set up my problem. $50 minus $31.79, and I'm going to go ahead and subtract. So I start in my hundredths place. I have 0 minus 9. There is more on the floor, so I need to go next door and get 10 more. But when I go next door, I have a 0. So I can't borrow from a 0 because there's nothing there. So I need to go next door to my next place, my ones place, and there's another 0. So I can't borrow from that either. So I'll go next door again to the tens place where I have a 5. I finally have something I can borrow from, so I'm going to draw my box around 5, 0, and 0. Now I'm going to go ahead and regroup. I cross out my 5. I'm taking away a 10, so it becomes a 4. The zeros inside my box become 9s, and my 0 outside the box, the one I needed more in, I'm going to add 10 to, so it becomes a 10. Now I can subtract. 10 minus 9, there's more on the top this time. No need to stop. I get 1. Then I go to my tenths place. 9 minus 7, more on the top. No need to stop. I get 2. Go ahead and put in your decimal point. Then I have 9 minus 1, more on the top, no need to stop, 8. And finally, 4 minus 3, more on the top, no need to stop, 1. Go ahead and put your dollar sign. Your answer is $18.21. Go ahead and write it on the line. Let's try number 2. Put your pencil down, read and visualize to help you understand. Arthur buys dinner for his friends. The bill comes to $16.23. He gives the waiter a $20 bill. How much will his waiter bring back in change? Pick up your pencil. The first thing we do is bracket the question. How much will his waiter bring back in change? Change is our hint word. It means we are going to subtract. Let's underline important info. Arthur, $16.23, and $20 bill. So this is in word form. Let's put it in standard form. $20. If he's paying with a bill, that means he doesn't have any change or any cents. So we can put and 0 cents. This is our bigger number right here. The bill is our smaller number. And then we'll get our difference, our change at the end. So I'm going to set this up nice and neatly. $20.00 minus $16.23. Go ahead and subtract, starting in the hundredths place. 0 minus 3, more on the floor, so I need to go next door and get 10 more. When I go next door, I have a 0, so I can't get 10 more. So I'm going to go to the next place, my ones place, and it's a 0 again. So I can't get 10 more, so I need to go next door to the next place, the tens place. And finally, I have a 2, so I can borrow from there. So my box goes around 2, 0, and 0, and I leave that last 0 outside the box. The 2 I'm taking away, so it becomes a 1. My zeros inside the box become 9s, and my 0 outside the box, I'm adding 10 because I needed more on the top, and that becomes a 10. So I have 10 minus 3, now there's more on the top, no need to stop, I get 7. 9 minus 2, more on the top, no need to stop, 7. Put your decimal point, move to the ones place, 9 minus 6, more on the top, no need to stop, 3. And then 1 minus 1 is 0. Number's the same, 0's the game. I don't need to put a 0 if it's to the left and there's no other numbers. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my dollar sign, and I get $3.77. And go ahead and write that on the line. Let's check out number 3. Put your pencil down so you can visualize the problem. DW is at a baseball game, and he buys a bag of popcorn that costs 98 cents. He gives the cashier a $5 bill. What will his change be? First thing we do is bracket the question. What will his change be? Underline change. That is a hint word for subtraction. Underline DW. Underline 98 cents. And $5 bill. Let's start with $5 bill. That's in word form. We're going to need to put it in standard form. So $5 would be like that. There's no cents or no change, so it's and 0 cents. Now 98 cents, this is the first time where the item didn't cost at least $1. It cost less than $1. So if something costs 98 cents, if we write this in money, it would be $0 and 98 cents. So make sure you write that correctly. That's going to be your smaller number. Your bigger number is $5. Our change will be the difference at the end. So I'm going to set up my problem. $5 and 0 cents minus $0 and 98 cents. Get everything lined up how it should be. And start in the hundredths place. 0 minus 8, more on the floor. I need to go next door and get 10 more. When I do, I have a 0. There's nothing to borrow. So I need to go to the next place, my ones place, where I have a 5. I can borrow from the 5, so I draw a box around my 5 and my 0. My 5, I'm taking away to regroup, so it becomes a 4. My 0 inside the box becomes a 9, and my 0 outside the box, I'm adding 10 because I needed to get more on the top, so that becomes a 10. And then I have 10 minus 8, there's more on the top, no need to stop, I get 2. 9 minus 9, numbers the same, zero's the game, so I put a 0. I cannot stop here because there's still numbers to the left. So even though there's a 0, there might be something that I need to add in my ones place. So I am going to put my decimal point, and then look in the ones place. 4 minus 0 equals 4. Put your dollar sign. We get $4.02 will be her change. So go ahead and write it on the line. All right, let's talk about your challenge problem. I am not going to do this one with you. I want you to try it on your own. If you complete it correctly, and you underline important info and showed your regrouping work and everything looks perfect, when I come back tomorrow, I will be giving you a $5 bonus for accepting the challenge. And another hint, if you go to the other page that we were working on, the subtraction across zeros problem, that second word problem is set up just like this one. So you can use that to help you with this. So we're not going to do it together. I will read the problem so you can underline important info. Here we go. Challenge. Brian buys 2 pieces of candy. Each piece of candy costs $1.12. If he gives the cashier a $10 bill, what will his change be? So this is up to you. If you would like to try it for $5, go ahead and try it. I'll give you money tomorrow. If you want to skip ahead to the Daily Common Core and maybe work on this for homework later, that's fine. But this is your $5 challenge. See if you can do it. I can't wait to check tomorrow. Picture break. I found a picture of the time I built a snowman with my best friends. So that is me right there. You can see my best friend Paige, my brother Alex, our friends Maddie and Brooke, and our super cool snowman with sunglasses. Cool. Next up, Daily Common Core Review number 60. We'll do some of these together. Some of them I'll just read, and you can finish them up on your own for homework. Let's start with number 1. Sean is building a shed that is 1,060 feet long and 573 feet wide. What is the perimeter of his shed? First thing we do is bracket the question. Underline the word perimeter. We know perimeter. P, around, the perimeter. It means atom, 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 atom. So put a plus sign. We're going to have to add. Underline Sean. We have 1,065 feet long and 573 feet wide. So it helps with perimeter problems if we draw a picture to get an idea of what's going on. So let's draw this shed. We know it's going to be in the shape of a rectangle. We know the length, or the longer side, is 1,065 feet. And we know the width is 573 feet. We want to know the perimeter and add up the length of each side. Since it's a rectangle, this side and this side are congruent. So this is also going to be 1,065 feet. And this side are congruent. So this side will be 573 feet. So our equation is going to be 1,065 plus 1,065 plus 573 plus 573, adding up all the sides. If you plug that into your calculator, you get an answer of 3,276 feet. You just need a complete sentence. Sean's shed is 3,276 feet, period. Let's look at problem number 2. Number 2 says, find the rule for the table and fill in the missing numbers. So we have boxes B to cost C. We need to ask ourselves, from input to output, are the numbers going up or down? So draw your arrow, and then you can come back to this problem, figure out the rule, and then figure out what our missing inputs are right there. Number 3. Find the area of a box with a length of 12 centimeters and a width of 8 centimeters. So there's no question to bracket, so we're just going to have to look for hint words. It says area. I know area is the space inside, length times width, we multiply, squared. So this is going to be a multiplication problem. We have a length of 12 centimeters and a width of 8 centimeters. So just like with perimeter problems, it's going to help us if we can draw a picture of our box. So we know a box is going to be in the shape of a rectangle. The length, or the longer side, is 12 centimeters. Our abbreviation for that is cm. The width is 8 centimeters. For area, all I need is the length times the width. I know since it's a rectangle that these sides are congruent and these sides are congruent, but I don't really need to label it because all I need is 12 times 8. If you plug that into your calculator, you get an answer of 96. So we can write a sentence, the area of the box is 96 centimeters. Okay, number 4, underline the digit in the 10 millions place. Then the question asks, what is the value of the underlined digit? We know value is how much it's worth. Cha-ching. So underline that digit, write the value on the line. You can take care of that one on your own. Number 5, let's do this one together. It says, find the measure of the unknown angle. Underline unknown angle. If we hear unknown angle, that's the same thing as missing angle, which means subtraction, just like missing part. So let's see what we know in this problem. I know that this angle right here is 37 degrees. So that's a part that I know. I know that this angle here is angle X. This is my missing part. That's what I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. I know for subtraction, I need to know total minus part equals missing part. It doesn't look like I know the total, but if I look closely at this green box, I know that box means that from here to here is 90 degrees. It's a right angle. So 90 degrees is actually my total. So when I set up subtraction, total minus part equals missing part, I take my total of 90 degrees, the part that I know, 37 degrees, and I can subtract those to figure out my missing part. If you plug that into your calculator, you get an answer of 53 degrees. So I can say angle X is 53 degrees, period. All right, last one, number 6. Write the number in standard form. Underline standard form. Standard form is the normal way to write numbers. Duh. You can take care of this one on your own, so do your best with that. Okay, let's move on to the back to your multiplication mix review. I'll help you with those two, and then you're on your own. Rock break. This is a rock from Barstow, California, where my Aunt Debbie used to live. She was the bride in that picture before. This is a rock from Barstow. I have a rock from the Painted Desert right here. And, very cool, a rock from Rome. It says Rome 2003. Sweet! Okay, the last video for us to do together is mixed multiplication review number 11. So turn to this page in your packet. You can do the multiplication columns on your own. I will do the review questions with you. So taking a look at number 1. How many times more? Automatically, I'm going to underline that and put question mark X. Is the 8 in the thousands place? I'm going to find the 8 in the thousands place. It is right here. And I'm comparing that with the 8 in the hundreds place. So here's the 8 in the hundreds place. So I'm going to need to know the value of both 8s to answer this question. I know the 8 in the thousands place has a value of 8,000, and the 8 in the hundreds place has a value of 800. So now I can go ahead and set up my problem. This is a multiplication comparison problem, so how many times always comes first. So if I draw my arrow, how many times blank equals blank. It makes the most sense for my bigger number, 8,000, to go at the end. So I'm going to label that the thousands place, TH. If the thousands place is at the end, the thousands place is also at the beginning. So I'll label that the thousands place. That means my hundreds place is what we're versing. So I will put 800 in the middle. And then I have how many times 800 equals 8,000. It's a missing multiplication problem. So I can use the inverse operation of division to check. So 8,000 divided by 800 equals 10. And I get an answer of 10 times more. Let's look at the rounding problems. Number 2, round to the nearest thousands place. So take a look at our rounding rules posted above the windows. We know the first thing we need to do is underline the place, the thousands place. So I'm going to underline the 6. Then I circle the bossy neighbor to the right. It's a 9. Say the phrase, 5 or above, give the underline a shove. So my 6 shoves up to a 7. The left side stays the same, so I'll write 5, change the 6 to a 7. Now I'm getting to my circle side. That all changes to zeros, and I get an answer of 57,000. Looking at number 3, round to the nearest hundreds place. Underline the place. My 4 is the digit in my hundreds place. I'll circle the 3 to the right. Say the phrase, 4 or below, let the underline go. So the 4 is just going to stay how it is. The left side stays the same. So 7 stays the same, 7 stays the same. We said 4 is going to stay the same. And then my circle side changes to zeros. 0, 0. Put in your comma, and we get an answer of 77,400. Number 4, round to the nearest 10,000s place. Be careful you don't lose that 10 in the 10,000s place. I have a 3 in my 10,000s place, so I'm going to underline it. Circle the bossy neighbor to the right. Say the phrase, 5 or above, give the underline a shove. So my 3 is going to shove up to a 4. Everything on the left side stays the same, so 6, shove the 3 up to a 4, then I'm at the circle side, that all changes to zeros. So 0, 0, 0, put in your comma to get 64,000. And number 5, round to the nearest whole number. When it says whole number, it means I'm getting rid of the decimals, so I'm rounding to the ones place. So I'm going to underline my 3 in the ones place. Circle the bossy neighbor, which is to the right of the decimal point in the tens place. Say the phrase, 5 or above, give the underline a shove. So the 3 shoves up to a 4. Left side stays the same, 1, 1. Change your 3 to a 4. Then we're at the decimal point. Circle side turns to 0, so I put 0, 0. That is my answer. Since I have 0 decimals, I could also write it like this, 114. either of those answers would be correct. Nice work on your packet today. Just a reminder, anything you did not finish is homework. So if you didn't finish something and you're confused when you go home, this video is up on the website. So you can go ahead, check it out, watch it there. Double check every single page of your packet. Make sure it's all done. You have sentences when you need to, and you showed your work for every problem, checked with the calculator. We will check homework when we get back tomorrow. So get that done. If you are officially good to go with that and everything's complete, you can first go ahead and do a round of extra math. Let's see if anyone can beat multiplication today and move on to 2-second multiplication. Then after that, you can work on ST Math. See you guys tomorrow. I can't wait.